Save Marva. Why did you say that name? It's his mother's name. It's his mother's name. Batman vs Superman Dawn of Justice. It's about time, guys. I apologise for my review of the most anticipated, biggest, most controversial film of the year being so late. I know I should have reviewed it when it came out in March, but anyway, here I am, now better late than never, am I right? So Batman vs Superman, directed by Zack Snyder, and takes place immediately after the events of Man of Steel, where Batman has travelling to Metropolis to break into LexCorp to steal the kryptonite to challenge and kill Superman after Superman caused destruction at the Battle of Metropolis in his battle with Zod, and now Superman is being seen, is being viewed by the world as half see him as a saviour, half see him as a threat, so Superman is having to go on trial for his actions, and meanwhile Lex Luthor is plotting to destroy Superman and make contact with alien forces that threaten to destroy this world. And of course this is the beginning of DC's Justice League. So yeah, Batman vs Superman, reviewing this movie is like walking into a war zone, because at the time critics absolutely hated this film. They panned it as hell. It has only a 27% on Rotten Tomatoes, and particularly Marvel fans were bashing it, and DC fans were defending this film to the death. They were, just like they did with The Dark Knight Rises, they were giving the critics all the hate and death threats, so I'm really stuck in the middle here. I don't want to hate this film. I want to love this film, because this is one of my most anticipated films of the year, and I can see why it's the most anticipated superhero film of all time. It has Batman and Superman, two of the best superheroes in comic book history, finally in a movie together. And of course, this has the task of setting up the DC Cinematic Universe and getting us excited for the Justice League trilogy, as well as doing Batman and Superman justice. So I can gladly say I've seen it loads of times, and I've thought about it long and hard and taken notes, and I'm gonna be pissed. If I say I hate it, I'm going to be pissing off DC fans. If I say I like it, I'm going to be pissing off Marvel fans. I've accepted that. But guys, do we really need... Can we please not have the DC versus Marvel war? Can we just be open-minded and judge this as a film on its own? So, after I've seen it, what do I think of it? Well, I really like it. Do I think it deserves the hate it gets? Hell no. Please, Marvel fans, don't hurt me, please, just hear me out, just let me explain. And I know the DC fans are cheering right now and the Marvel fans are in utter shock, but as much as I really like it, I have to admit, it's not perfect. It has problems, it has flaws, but I think the good things about this movie completely outweigh the bad things. Let's start off by saying how outstanding Ben Affleck as Batman is in this movie. Of course, when Ben Affleck was cast as Batman, everyone was like, no way, are you mad? But I was one of the few people that actually liked the casting decision. I thought, I was optimistic about it. Maybe he could be good, and boy, did he deliver. Boy, did he surprise us all. He's phenomenal as Batman. He is the perfect Batman. He is the best Batman ever put on screen. I didn't think he was going to top or succeed or surpass Christian Bale, but boy, he did. Let's start off by saying his voice isn't as growly as Christian Bale's, so he's a bit easier to understand. the costume looks exactly like the classic Batman suit, which I really appreciate. He's an actual detective. He has a kick-ass Batmobile, a badass suit of armor. Yeah, he has all the gadgets you could want. Yeah, and when he fights, he's a freaking badass. Uh, I know people have issue with Batman killing people in this film, and yes, in the scene where he saves Martha, he does kill a lot of guys and a lot of thugs, and when Batman's chasing down the thugs for the kryptonite, so he does blow up a lot of people, but, well, in that situation, just like Superman was put in a situation in Man of Steel, Batman had to kill those guys. He didn't have a choice. They wouldn't have let him live. And Jeremy Irons as Alfred, oh my god, he is a brilliant as Alfred. He's the youngest actor ever to play the character, and he's equal to Michael Caine from the Dark Knight trilogy in every aspect. I mean, while he isn't in the movie as much as I hoped he would be, boy does he deliver. Love Henry Cavill as Superman. A lot of people say he's underdeveloped and boring in this movie. I don't get it. I think he's much more interesting and much more three-dimensional Superman than Christopher Reeve in the original films ever was. I felt sorry for the guy in this movie. He's having to deal with the blame for the destruction in Metropolis. He's having to deal with people complaining about him killing terrorists in Africa when he saves Lois, and just the world is turning against him. He gets framed for blowing up a courtroom. He gets his ass beat by Batman. His mother gets kidnapped. And God, the poor guy suffers so much throughout this movie, and you're rooting for him to get back on top. So Batman and Superman, I think, are just as interesting and well developed. And right from the start, this movie starts with a bang, with the opening of the shooting of Bruce Wayne's parents. I know we've seen that a million times before, but I honestly don't mind it being included, because if you're going to do a Batman movie, why not include that scene? At least Zack Snyder did it in an original way. He's such a great visual director, and he shot that scene beautifully, and Hans Zimmer's score, Beautiful Lie, was outstanding. This movie's soundtrack by Hans Zimmer is incredible. It's breathtaking, it's beautiful in every aspect. I mean, it puts the soundtrack from Civil War to absolute shame. So we also see the Battle of Metropolis from Bruce Wayne's point of view, which was a kick-ass way to start the movie. He's the perfect Bruce Wayne as well, Ben Affleck. He's so brave. He literally runs into the rubble and the collapsing buildings and saves the little girl. And Superman killing the terrorist in Africa to save Lois. I know a lot of people say that was unnecessary. The destruction of Metropolis was enough for Superman to go on trial, which, to be fair, yeah, the movie probably could have done without that. But it was a nice addition to really see how much he cares about Lois. The relationship between Lois and Clark is great. He is willing to literally risk his life for her, and he will do everything for her, and she even saves his life when she explains to Batman that Martha is his mother's name. Just like in Man of Steel, she's not just the damsel in distress all the time, she's actually involved in the action. And of course she also has to get the kryptonite spear for our heroes to take down Doomsday at the end. Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor, well, I don't think he was that bad. Please don't hurt me. I mean, yeah, he's not the greatest comic book villain of all time. He's not a patch on Heath Ledger's Joker or Tom Hardy's Bane, and he's definitely a weaker villain than Michael Shannon's Zod in Man of Steel. But he was decent. I mean, this is only the beginning of his character. Hopefully, he will become a better antagonist in the Justice League films. I mean, He has a very complicated plan to frame Superman for blowing up the Capitol, to get the kryptonite, to kidnap Superman's mother, to get Superman to kill Batman, and well, and and to create and and to create a backup plan. He of course uses Zod's corpse with his own blood to create Doomsday in the crashed Kryptonian vessel. Yeah, it's a very complicated, convoluted plan, and of course it revealed at the end that he also has summoned Steppenwolf and Darkseid to come down to Earth. So, and yeah, it's also explained that he hates Superman because, yeah, his motivation is really unclear. He hates Superman because Superman is a figure of God, I guess. But yeah, I guess he's just a deranged psychopath who can't be reasoned with. And I mean, I love Jesse Eisenberg. He's an amazing actor, and he was clearly enjoying it, have a lot of fun, which I applaud. And he does some despicable things. You just end up hating this guy. And the first half of this film, the opening scene with was perfect, was outstanding. But then after that, the first half of this film, really not much happens. There's little action in the first half of the film, and you're just, well, at least it does a brilliant job with developing the characters. There's solid character development there, but you're also like, can we also please get to Batman meeting Superman already? Which they finally do about an hour into the movie, where in the "Do You Bleed" scene, which was an awesome scene, by the way, Batman actually thought he could hit Superman with the Batmobile. Made me laugh, but yeah, of course, people always complain about how in a movie titled Batman vs Superman, the title fight only lasts about 10 minutes. But for what we got of it, it was awesome. It was epic, and there was great build up to it. There was just like Batman's nightmare of him in that apocalyptic world with fighting Superman's soldiers and Superman interrogating him. That was solid. There was some always solid build up to them discovering each other and their final confrontation. And I also love the part where Bruce Wayne and Clark Kent actually meet at Lex's party, and Lex was forcing them to be enemies, but they proved him wrong. They proved they could become best friends. And I, uh, but in the fight, I think Batman was being a bit of a dick. He was refusing to listen to Superman. He robbed Superman of his powers by spraying him with kryptonite and just beat the shit out of him. I felt bad for the poor guy. And of course the Martha scene. Well, guys, I don't hate the Martha scene. Please don't hurt me. I think it's a brilliant way for them to become friends, because Batman realised he was about to kill an innocent man who was just trying to save his mother. And Batman remembered, of course, when Martha, his own mother, was in danger. The Lex Luthor creates Doomsday at the end, and Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. Now, I loved Wonder Woman in this film. Gal Gadot was perfectly cast. She was fucking badass. She was the best fighter in the final battle, and I cannot wait for her movie in 2017. I wish she was in the movie more. Of course, and early on in the movie, she does look up the videos for the other members of the Justice League, and while that is a strange way of introducing them, it was a little hint that DC is finally getting started. And the final battle with Doomsday, it was epic, guys. It was awesome. I admit, it's not the best CGI in the world, nor is the final battle with Doomsday a patch on the battle at Metropolis at the end of Man of Steel, but it was still good. It was still awesome seeing our heroes finally in action, and of course Superman sacrificing himself and dying at the end. Yeah, it was a little unnecessary. I mean, it was a bit too early to kill Superman off. They should have saved it for a Justice League movie, but of course Superman's alive, because they wouldn't do a Justice League movie without Superman. So Batman vs Superman, it's a really good film. While it isn't perfect and not could have been better, and it's certainly a step down from Man of Steel. It was still really good. If you look at it from a positive point of view, there's a lot to love here. I give Batman vs Superman Dawn of Justice 4 stars out of 5. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.